All right, drum roll.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to class this morning. Today is our last day working on inversions. We've had a 6-week series. I think this is the 6th week, 5th or 6th. And in the Saturday classes, talking about beneficial effects on the nervous system to do inversions, different things that qualify as inversion. You don't have to do a headstand to do an inversion. Lots of different ways you can find the inversion benefits and experience those. And then also just the different kind of pieces biomechanically that really help with inversions, which muscles, which bony alignment structures are going to benefit from inversions, and also working on those places will be helpful as you go into inversions. So we're going to review today. We're going to just move through a lot of the different things we've done and get into some inverted positions. There are a lot of props. We are having Montessori day with all our props. So a blanket, we'll use this to do a little rolling on your head. Some people might be okay with a cushy mat if you have a cushy mat or a carpeted surface, but a blanket if you don't. A strap or a towel. We'll do some work with that. And then either a chair or better, I think, is a space against the wall. Scott, a little later, will get us rolling up and down with the feet against the wall. And if you don't have a wall space that's open, I remember Scott mentioning a door is useful. You might have a door or a chair, and you can put your feet on the chair instead of on the wall. So all the preparatory things set up. Let's start actually with the rolling on the head using the blanket or your soft surface, wherever that is. So I have a very neatly folded blanket, so it's not all ripply in the middle of it, which will just be annoying on your head. So get that set up for yourself. And then hands and knees. And you have to play a little bit with how close or how far away you want your knees to be. Just know you'll adjust. And then have your hands where you can see them. So just take a look first that as I put my forehead on the mat, I can see my hands. They're under the blanket, but I can see where they are. So I don't want them way out here where I can't really see them. Put them a little bit in front of me. And then I just kind of have to figure out where my knees should be, how close or far away they should be. And then really gently rolling over the top of your head until you're on the crown of your head, not behind it, but just right on top of it. And a little bit of pressure in your hands to support. And as you press into your hands, almost like you're doing cat pose from yoga, where you round the spine a little bit, you lift the ribs a little bit to support. And then rolling back towards your forehead, towards your hairline. Making that movement a couple times. I'm not putting a big stretch on the neck. I really am thinking about relaxing my head. My neck will release some, but I'm not pushing on the back of the neck. Hands are pushing, upper back rounding, scalp relaxing, and then rolling back. And just on your own time, playing with that movement, breathing. Last time. And then before you pop up, work your way back to child's pose. Take a couple breaths where you just relax everything. Let your head be relaxed. You can put your hands under your forehead. Let your blood flow regulate. Not all stuck in your head. And then slowly roll up to sitting. We'll move the blanket out of the way. And we'll go into work with the strap. So you're going to take your strap, line it up along your mat, kind of through the center of your mat here. I always feel like I'm on a cooking show when I start talking about props. Have that like rhythm of speech that they have. Just a little bit of salt. But you want to make sure your strap is really spread out. And then if you're using a towel instead, if you remember, we're taking the kitchen towel this way. If you're working with the towel, and you're going to work a little differently. But if you have the strap, you're going to go long ways. Either one works. So you're going to lie back with your spine on the strap. You want to make sure there's about 6 or 8 inches above you to hold on to. And then again, if you're using the towel, your head is right on the towel, right? So long ways this way. And then we'll take a moment here. See if you can relax through your skull, through your neck, through your jaw, through your upper back. And then if you're using the kitchen towel, you're going to grab the ends and pull the towel up so it's cradling your head. If you're using the strap, you're going to reach overhead, one hand holding the strap, then other hand comes over that fist. So one hand makes a fist, the other one wraps around the fist you made. And then elbows up, almost straight to the ceiling, but not quite, just a little on a diagonal. A little pull out with the strap, and then carrying your head up with your prop. Easy, easy neck. Feel how the upper back can open. Weight of the head relaxed into your prop. And then rolling back down. So we'll work with that movement a couple times. Feeling the head supported, neck relaxed, chest relaxed, and then the upper back gets to bend, right? You want to feel the curve all the way through the upper back. We are actually moving into the same position you were just in upside down. You were in that curve from your head through your ribs a moment ago when you were putting weight on your head. And we flipped you upside down. It's that same curve. And a couple times. Inhale. And exhale. And as you get to the top, stay there and take a breath. easy, heavy head as you come down. Relax jaw, relax neck. And then bring everything down. And again, take a couple breaths, let your chest relax, let your neck relax. Feel the weight of your upper back on the floor. And then finding your way up to sitting. And then we're going to keep working with the strap. However you want, make your way up to standing. And we'll work a little bit with opening the chest and opening the shoulders. Now, we just started with head and neck mobility, strength, alignment. So as we go into this standing work, let's keep that in mind. And in general, the most common pattern that pretty much all of us have is the head a little forward and down, and the chest a little dropped in. And then the way we remedy this habitually is just to send the chest up and the shoulders back. And then can you see how that sort of puts my head in line, but then it pinches down in my back here, right? So instead, my rib cage is actually in place, and I want to see if I can, with some length, like I had the strap again, and I was floating my head back into the strap, relaxing through the neck and the chest, and a little bit opening up and back. So sometimes I'll use the image of a double chin. I had a student once who would talk about a push button nose, and she would say, push the button of your nose and let it slide straight back. Maybe that works for you. If you ever put your finger up to a cat, sometimes their nose goes out to your finger, but sometimes they do this, right? I don't really want to sniff your finger. So maybe it's maybe that push button nose is something there, right? It's not a half and half class if there isn't a cat image. So let's take your hands a little wider than your shoulders, feet in line with your hips. Relax your chest and your shoulders and just feel where your head is. And then really gently imagining you float it back, whatever image works for you, keeping the back of the neck open, the jaw easy, forehead easy. Maybe you even feel that like head in the blanket feeling, weight in the head feeling. And then pulling out and release. And inhale, pull out and release. You could think about balancing a book on your head, how you would have to stand, or an iPad on your head. Probably harder to balance an iPad on your head. 2 more. And last time. And then holding that, and arms reach up just below the shoulder height and lower down. And inhale, reach up, and exhale and lower. And as the arms come up, a lot of times the chest wants to come up. You keep the chest down, the head floating back, while everything stays in place. And one more time, take it up and stay there, and release the tension. And inhale, pull out, and exhale. And inhale, reach out, and release. pull and release and inhale and exhale. 2 more. One more time, pull out and hold that. And then arms reaching overhead. Now this is the hardest one, not to push your chest up. Instead, you're going to let your shoulders kind of shrug up. And as they shrug up, you let your arms come overhead so that your chest can stay relaxed and in place. And then lower back down, shoulders back on the ribs. And arms float up, shoulders shrug up, just a little. Not a tense shrug, just like a shrug, right? Like just a little. And then they lower down. One more time. And exhale. All right, we're going to take the strap behind you. A little bit of wide feeling here. Wide shoulder blades, right? So not arms go back and shoulder blades pinch together and chest goes forward and head and neck, all those things, right? Easy. Easy head and neck. Head back in line, you pull out on the strap and you just move your arms. That's it. And then back down. And you look straight out in front of you. There's a tendency for the head to kind of drop down. You leave all that in place. Maybe you imagine the towel or the strap. You let your head rest back into it, like we did lying on the floor. A couple more. And inhale. And exhale, last one. And bring it in and relax. Okay, we're going to put the strap off to the side. Make your way back to the mat, however you like, or to the floor. And then we're going to play with all of that in shoulder bridge. So in shoulder bridge, there's a little bit of this kind of upper spine mobility. There's a little bit of bend as the hips float up and the spine moves. The arms are essentially behind you in that same position, right? We don't move the arms, we move the pelvis, but it puts the shoulder in extension. And then there's a lot of room to feel the head softly in the floor, in the front of the neck released. So we'll have all that imagery as we work in shoulder bridge. So heels in line with your sits bones, arms on the mat. Now imagine you were standing and you had the strap and you were pressing just a little bit back. You were about to move the arms back. Shoulder blades are still wide. And then imagine the back of your skull can relax into the floor. The neck and the jaw relaxing. And then from here, we'll start to roll up. Pelvis, lower back. And as you get a little higher through the ribs, can you keep your shoulder blades wide? Can you feel how the arms, as they press, it's similar to when you were standing and pressing the strap back behind you. And then just notice right up at the top of the neck, does it start to get tense? It does for me. See if you can relax the back of your skull, relax your jaw, relax your chest. And then rolling back down through your spine. And here's sort of inversion number 1, right? We took the pelvis, we lifted it up, and the energy's flowing in the opposite direction down towards your head. Pelvis higher than your heart, right? So we're starting into that light inversion, rolling up. And putting all the pieces together, wide blades, arms an extension, easy skull and neck. Rolling back down. Let's do it one more time. All right, so that was warming up for the feeling of eventually getting the pelvis all the way up over the shoulders. You're going to see that come in later when your feet are against the wall. You're going to go a little higher, but the fundamentals of that position we just did with the upper body here. Let's create a little more strength in the abdominals, also very helpful as you're inverting with the 100, right? So this same feeling like you had the strap or the towel, bringing your head up like you were pulling on the strap. Let's today reach your arms forward, give yourself a little pull, and see if you can open your upper back just a little bit more. And then settle your ribs onto the floor. Imagine you have that support from the strap, from the towel. And then legs come up. We'll go into the 100, inhaling 5. Now you could do a hand behind your head here. If you do that, make sure you're still feeling the head floating back into that support, not pulling your head way forward and tightening your neck. Inhale. Send your inhale in between your shoulder blades. Open a little more space there. Breathing in. And then maybe switching your hands. If you have a hand behind your head, take the other one behind your head. Last one. And then bend everything in. Rest your head down. Probably your neck was working a little bit. Mine was. I had to hold my head up. So take a moment and let it relax. Let your chest relax again. Feel how your breath moves. And then bring yourself up to sitting. Okay, so let's do a little bit of our rolling back and forth, getting ready for rolling like a ball, which is also an inversion. Let's get the spine a little ready for that. So round spine, curling your hips under, back on the back of your pelvis, soft chest, wide shoulder blades. And as your head follows the curve, imagine like you could push your head a little bit into your hand, just lightly, just a little bit. You're not sending your head forward to your chest, right? It's like you have the strap again, and you could feel the back of your head in the strap. A lot of times it feels less round. That's okay. It's a longer, it's a more open parabola, right? It's not a real tight one. And then we start our one leg rolling up and down. The lower you get, the more your head's going to want to pull forward. See if you can keep working with that head in the towel, head in the strap feeling. Either halfway down or all the way down, up to you. Trying to find that all those same things on the way up again. It's a real strange opposition, especially on the way up, to feel like you're trying to push everything up and come up, but still your head is back. Your head's hanging back behind you. Your legs coming forward, your upper back is coming forward. Your head's just, it's kind of, I'll get there in a second. I'll meet you there. And then back to sitting. Next time you get to the top, we'll go to the other leg. And then again, that very first position we started on with the head in the blanket, where you were upside down, kind of in a headstand-esque position. Same position, right? Ribs, belly, easy, sort of energy through the top of the head. Hands have some energy. Leg is pushing forward a little to give you control. Inhale as you start back. Last one. All right. I have 3 minutes left. I'm allowed 3 more minutes. So let's do some rolling. Getting into that momentous, meaning with momentum, maybe epic as well, I don't know, but that feeling of getting the pelvis up over the upper back, up over this really clear position we're working with, not tight chest, right? Ribs bouncing in between the shoulder blades. Now, if you don't do the rolling, you can still get the strength aspect of this by doing the rocking chair, which is the little baby back and forth. Or doing the boat, which won't take you to your shoulders, but you can do with a little more control. Still going to give you the strength. You can still work on this alignment position, or all the way into that balance on the upper back roll position. Keeping your shape through the upper body, using the belly to float the pelvis up. Your pelvis doesn't end up right over your shoulders, but it definitely gets a little higher, a little more towards that up over the shoulder position. Couple more. Do you feel how it's getting better each time you do it? I think that happens. and then resting. I've done a lot of rolling like a balls in my life, and I get a lot of positive feedback about my rolling like a ball. I've been told I have a good rolling like a ball a couple times. But still, every time I do it, it just gets better. Every time I do it, just a little better. Just keep practicing, a little better. You have to keep doing it. Practice, really important. Okay, that's my shtick for the moment. I'm going to pass off to the tall one.
Hello, everybody. So let's go and take a little different direction before we pick up where you just left off. So let's begin by taking your feet a little bit wider apart. Turn both your legs out a bit. And then keep that length in your spine. Keep a relatively straight spine. Exhale, bend your ankles, hips, and knees. And then inhale, come on up. A pretty slow movement, matched to your breath. The next time in that triple flexed position, ankles, knees, and hips, let's pause there. And maintain that steady breathing. Then take both heels, lift them up a couple inches. And now keep that left heel lifted. Slowly over a count of 5, descend your right heel down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, touch, lift. Now again, both heels are lifted. Keep your right heel lifted. Now slowly descend your left heel. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, touch, lift. And now slowly descending both heels. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, contact. Now let's pause here for a moment. Drop into any sensations you're feeling in your leg muscles. And then slowly rise up. Keep your feet apart, turn both feet straight ahead. And turn your left foot in, right foot out. Exhale, bend your right knee. Inhale, straighten it. It's a really nice way to work on hip mobility, especially if you're cognizant of keeping your torso more or less facing forward. And then taking that right thigh straight out toward the side. The next time knee in that bent position, let's pause there. Once again, work with foot strength, ankle mobility, calf strength. Take that right heel, float it up a couple inches, and then slowly descend that heel down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, contact. So drop into any sensations that may be arising in your leg muscles. Maintain that sense of embodiment as you now tip your hips. Hand to knee, hand to hip. Then bring your left arm forward, sweep it through. And then take a peek up at your ceiling. Look right inside your armpit. And with the next inhale, come on up. Then back to the front. Now the second side. Turn your right foot in, left foot out. Match movement to breath. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. So now we're working on left hip, healthy mobility. Now your torso, you don't want to square your torso to face straight forward. That'd be really hard on your hip joint. Just sort of comfortably, more or less facing toward the front. While at the same time that thigh bone goes straight out to the side. The next time knee in the bent position, let's pause there. Then to work with foot strength, a lot of muscles support healthy arches, ankle mobility, and there are quite a few muscles in the calves. We're going to work the deepest muscle, the soleus. Lift that heel a little bit up to access the soleus. And then slowly descend that heel down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, contact. Now, especially when you're busy or stressed out, quite often you end up living in your head. So whatever sensations you may be feeling in your muscles, see if you can drop right into those sensations. So rather than perceiving them from a distance, inhabit them. So from this vantage point of embodiment, tip your hips, hand to knee, hand to hip, and bring your right arm forward and through. Little rotation in the neck and upper back. Check out your ceiling. And then with the next inhale, come on up. Turn back to the front. And then step your feet together. So now let's do a little bit of whole body movement, partial sun salutation. So in a moment, what we're going to do is direct the inhale into your upper back. Fill your upper back with the fresh air. Stale air out. Maybe you can even feel your upper back between your shoulder blades broadening as you inhale. Again, like that. Inhale, fill your back. Exhale, arms to the side, up. And then inhale, folding. Here's a chance to mobilize your spine, rolling down. Let's pause here. So maybe it's fingertips on the floor. Maybe it's more of your whole hand on the floor. Or maybe it's your hands on your shins. Whichever the case may be, with the next out breath, reach the crown of your head forward. See if you can keep your neck long and generate most of this movement between your shoulder blades. We'll pause here for a few breaths. And with the next inhale, fold. Exhale, roll up. Here's another chance to mobilize your spine. Arms up, chin up. Inhale, arms down. Now the same thing a little bit faster. Inhale, fill your upper back. Exhale, arms up. Inhale, roll down. Exhale, gorilla. Inhale, fold. Exhale, roll up. Inhale, arms down. Now we're going to do the same thing quietly. Start with the inhale and follow along. Now bring your hands to your hips. Step your feet wide apart. Not quite as wide as they were before. Kind of medium wide. Then turn your left foot in, your right foot out. And to face toward the side, turn your left foot just a little bit more in. So you end up facing toward your side wall. So back leg straight, front leg straight. And then from your hips fold. So keep your spine straight and folding from your ball and socket joints, from your hip sockets. Then when you bump into resistance, and the resistance is almost always in the front leg hamstring, pause there. So in a moment, we're going to introduce a little bit of a rotation in the spine. So the leg that's straight in front of you, bring the opposite side arm down toward your knee, or maybe toward your shin. You notice how you turn to accommodate that? So rotate about your spinal axis. Few breaths here, looking toward the back of your room. Inhale, rise up, turning back toward the front. And fully turning back toward the front. All right. So works a little bit with hip mobility, hamstring length, and then also mobility in your spine. Let's take a look at the other side. Turn your right foot in, left foot out. Right foot turns in a little bit more so you face toward the side. And then from your hips, from those ball and socket joints, fold. As you do so, back leg stays straight, front leg stays straight. Then in my body, that's about it. I'm feeling the tug on my hamstrings. So then introducing the spine rotation. Leg that's straight, the opposite side arm comes down. You know you brought the appropriate arm down is when you end up rotating to look toward the back of your space. And then with the next inhale, come on up. Turn back to the front. And then step your feet together. Let's make our way to the floor. As we've been doing, begin with the in-breath. Exhale, arms up. We're going to add a layer here. Inhale, roll down. Exhale, gorilla. Inhale, step back. And here we are in yoga pose, head down dog. Let's spend a few breaths here. And then come on down to your knees and route to your belly. And then stretch your toes back behind you. Reach your toes out of your lower back. And at the same time, reach the crown of your head forward in front of you. Stretching the crown of your head away from out of your tailbone. Now as you reach your toes back, extend the crown of your head forward. Maybe you're already feeling how that decompresses your lower back. Then keeping that space, keeping that length. With the next exhale, lift up into yoga pose locust. That's where your feet come up, your head comes up. Knees start to lift. And chest comes up. A really good movement for your posture. Let's spend a few more breaths here. And then come on down. And then a partial push-up. Push up to hands and knees. And then back to yoga pose, head down dog. 3 of those slower, deeper breaths here. And then come on down and all the way onto your back. So you've already done a few of these shoulder bridges. But a shoulder bridge is kind of like a glass of water. It's kind of hard to drink too much water. Kind of hard to do too many shoulder bridges, unless, of course, you got hypernatremia. So let's pick up where you left off a little bit earlier and roll your spine up segment by segment. Get that good spine mobility. So just like cats have really supple spines, just like all of us when we were children, we had really supple spines when we were in our youth. And so we're going to work on reconnecting, regaining that youthful spinal mobility. Segment by segment rolling down. Segment by segment rolling up. Let's do one more down and up. All right. So now that your hips are up, well, a lot of the benefits of in inversion, they're already present right here. Abdomen is above thorax. So blood pressure is increasing in the upper thorax. And whether you feel it or not, right now your nervous system, your autonomic nervous system, is adjusting. It's moving more into rest and healing. And go ahead and roll down, mobilize your spine. All right, so now let's, in a sense, turbocharge the benefits of that shoulder bridge. So make your way over to your wall or to your door. Or if you don't have any open space, remember how you can use a chair, put your feet on a chair. So as we worked on in previous weeks, nice and broad across your upper back. Long in your neck. Remember how you worked on that earlier with Collette? And then putting all the many various pieces together with your feet on the wall, roll your spine up. Just like we did in shoulder bridge. And not so high up. Make sure that the weight ends up across your upper back. Use the natural strength of the shoulders to support your body. Definitely not weight on your neck. And then we're going to hold here. Naturally, due to gravity, due to your body's orientation in space, your autonomic nervous system is going to that state of greater relaxation, restoration, and healing. So now, just like we did in shoulder bridge, slowly rolling down. And then let's rest with your feet up the wall for a short while. All right, let's do one more of those. So feet on the wall or the door or the chair. Roll your spine up. Now, if you'd like a little bit more challenge, you could support your hips with your hands. You could take your feet higher up the wall. And some people may want even more challenge to bring their legs away from the wall. You don't necessarily get more benefit by doing this. It can just be kind of fun, kind of interesting. And then we just spend time here. Gravity's doing the work. We're basically hacking the nervous system. a neural hack. Then if you took your feet away from the wall, bend your knees and take one foot back, then the other foot back. And then if you took your feet higher up the wall, bend your knees to bring your feet a little bit lower on the wall. Then if your hands are supporting your hips, release them. And then roll your spine down. Here's another chance to mobilize your spine, regaining that youthful mobility. And then rest with your feet up the wall. Let your nervous system integrate that input. All right, then roll to your side. And we're going to do a little breath work for the last few minutes here. So set up in sitting. I'm going to get my meditation cushion to sit upon. You may want to sit on the floor or sit up on a chair. Now, breath work is a really tricky way to hack the nervous system. It can be very effective, or it can be spectacularly ineffective. So basically, don't do too much. So let's start by letting your breath be natural. If it's shallow, let it be shallow. If it's fast, let it be fast. So present moment, you're breathing. Don't mess with it. Practice observing your breath without changing your breathing. Now, if you think about 10% of anything, it's not a huge amount, but it's still something. 10% off sale, you might not drive across town, but it may pique your interest. Lengthen the duration of your out-breath by 10%. Just your out-breath. Let your inhale remain as it was. %10 off sale, you'll notice the difference at checkout. But probably not going to change your life. So let this lengthening, this altering of your out-breath be similarly something, but not too much. And this right here is another neural hack. Is you're spending just a little bit more time with parasympathetic dominance. Now, if you lengthened your exhale more than this, that could start to alter the blood chemistry, which would put your body into a state of alarm. 10% off sale. So you spend a little bit more time exhaling than you do inhaling. Spend a little bit more time in parasympathetic outflow than you do in sympathetic outflow. Which, just like being upside down, moves us from higher inflammation, higher stress, into the place of greater ease, health, and well-being. If you start to feel kind of out of breath, maybe an 8% off sale. All right. So time goes quickly. Really glad that we could spend this time together. Any comments, questions in the chat today? All right, all quiet out there. Thanks so much for joining us. And we do this every week. Please tell your friends, neighbors, associates, coworkers, family members. And let's do it again soon.